Around about 20,000 enjoying the sunshine down by the Lee. The referee, Micheál Monaghan from Kildare. And we're underway, this Munster football final replay. Sean Cullum has gone to centre half back from right corner back for Tipperary. Cork playing with the aid of a slight breeze, and it is only a very minor breeze. Colin Corkery will get to test out the shooting boots. Kicked some great points last weekend, and this would settle Cork down very nicely. Philly Ryan waits on the line, the Tipperary goalkeeper. Cork, of course, made a terrible start in Thurles. This would ease the nerves just a little bit. Corkery scored 7 points last weekend, and that's over all the way. He hardly looked after it at all. Corkery opens his and Cork's account. We haven't even been playing for a minute. Well, this a glorious kick from Colin Corkery. He was here earlier on this morning practicing frees, and the practice has paid off. Tipperary not really able to get into the game at all. Owen Sexton with the knockdown. Maybe this is their moment. Fergal O'Callaghan, Declan Brown and Peter Lambert haven't seen the ball. That continues. Kieran O'Sullivan with a huge belt forward. Corkery out off Damien Byrne, getting to the ball first. Graham Canty. Cork already seem like a different team. Finan Murray. He wants to try and go round the corner as well, but goes round his man Bernard Hahessy. Good chance for Cork. Murray! Side netting. It'll be a 45 though. The goalkeeper Philly Ryan made contact with that, and you can see him trying to gee up Hahessy. Well, the defender won't be happy when he sees this again. Finan Murray, a very slippery customer, a very quick customer. But for a moment he may have fouled the ball, but one hand was in contact with it all the while. Corkery and Declan Brown put on a real exhibition for us in the drawn game. So far it's been the Colin Corkery show. 3 points for Colin Corkery and for his team, and they're off to a flying start after only 5.5 minutes. Well, that's what Philly Ryan has had to do, because midfield is just not happening at all for Tipperary, and they reckoned that was an area where Cork were vulnerable. This is Willie Morrissey, the Tipperary substitute. Peter Lambert, he's got away from Kieran O'Sullivan. Pumped in by Lambert towards Declan Brown. He's got it away from Lynch. Hardly even looked at the post, and that's better from Tipperary. Well, for a start, Philly Ryan found a teammate with his kick out, and that was brilliant from Peter Lambert. And there was just that glance at the post from Declan Brown. Finan Murray. Tipperary really need to kick-start their challenge. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. It's good, precise football from Cork. Joe Kavanagh, faced by Sean Cullum. Kavanagh still in possession, soccer style, and he's put it over. They all count. 8-3, and it's a good response from Cork to reply so quickly after Tipperary's fine point from Declan Brown. Lovely quick thinking from Joe Kavanagh. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan again winning possession from the Tipperary kick-out from Philly Ryan. O'Sullivan to Colin Corkery. Corkery. Oh, that's very close, and that is wonderful from Colin Corkery. Off the ground and from play. He's been unstoppable today. And this could very quickly get out of reach for Tipperary before half-time. Just under 3 minutes to go to the break. Super. Philly Ryan. Joe Kavanagh. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan popping up on the right and now on the left for Cork, and he's got past Willie Morrissey. Needs some support, has plenty behind. Finan Murray. Tipperary are in real trouble. Stoppage time at the end of the first half, 12-3. And they deserve a big cushion. Apart from 1 or 2 moments of brilliance from Tipperary, Cork have been totally in control of this Munster football final replay. Corkery and Damien Byrne. Corkery with the flick. Here's Joe Kavanagh, foul. Takes it very quickly, Philip Clifford. Lots of Tipperary bodies around, but not able to get near the ball. Fionnán Murray going round the corner. That's not a good effort from Murray, but it'll stay in play. Sean Cullum and Joe Kavanagh. Here's Murray again. A chance for Clifford, and that surely is that. 1-12 to 3 points. And Cork with one hand on that Munster crown. Great vision again from Murray to follow this in. That was his initial ball. And he spotted Philip Clifford totally unmarked. All the Tipperary players went towards the ball. Clifford held his position and was never going to miss from there. Here's Declan Brown. That's the type of ball they need to give to him. Give him a chance to get away from Anthony Lynch. Brown having a go. Very ambitious effort. Tricky for the goalkeeper with the sun in his eyes. Liam England of Tipperary, they have to get some class of a score at this stage. A goal preferably, but they'll settle for a point. Liam England, his first point of the game. They're still a long way back. O'Dwyer did well to make any sort of contact with that, but the sun is right in his eyes. The marking was tight until that moment. Ronan McCarthy beaten far too easily. England had goal on his mind. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Cork not finished by any stretch of the imagination. Fionnán Murray has been excellent. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. And it's come to the Corkery of all people. Tipperary didn't want that to happen. Well, I don't think there's any doubt. He's got to be the man of the match. He's been absolutely superb. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Niall Kelly, the unfortunate player to put it across into the path of Colin Corkery. Amazing. Colin Crowley of Cork looking for another point and finding one. It's been a very useful workout for players like Colin Crowley on the fringes of the first 15, but he's come in, made an impression, and he took his chance very nicely here. 3 minutes to go, and it's all over for Tom McGlinchey on the left of your picture in the Munster Championship. Still Tipperary not giving up and working hard, trying to find a way through a superbly marshalled Cork defence. Eamon Hanrahan, 6'6", and he hangs that one very high in the air, and it's gone over. Beautifully taken point. That's his first, Eamon Hanrahan. It's a good point. Again, the breaks go the way of the soon-to-be crowned Munster champions, Fionnán Murray. That's a fine effort, a wonderful score by Micheál Cronin. Absolutely magnificent. 123 to 7 points. And you can watch this over and over again. Hardly even looked at the post and just drilled it over. And there are lots of options on that Cork bench for Larry Tompkins as this championship progresses for Cork. And it's over. What a difference a week makes. Tipperary were so good last Sunday. Cork didn't play at all well, they said, but they've made up for it with an amazing performance. They have beaten Tipperary very convincingly. The full-time score here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, Cork 123, Tipperary 7 points.
Game now, 20-man team, and you know, we a lot of our guys had a lot to prove today, and you know, they got themselves right, and you know, they came out trumps.
What was the difference between last Sunday?
I don't know, it's hard to say, but you know, we got a fright last week, there's no doubt about that, and everybody had to rectify it this week, and they did.
We knew that Cork would come at us, you know, but I suppose we were getting bad ball into the forwards, and like, you know, Declan and Peter need good ball into them, and today the ball just wasn't going in. I suppose Cork got a grip in midfield, which they didn't have the last day. But again, that's just the way football goes, you know, you just don't know how lads are going to react to occasions, and maybe the occasion got to a few of the lads, but hopefully we can get it right again.
Larry, can I ask you about a suggestion being made that perhaps you used too many substitutes in this game here today? What's your comment on that?
No, that wouldn't be correct at all. Like, we used 3 substitutions there at one time. We used Micheál Cronin, Colin Crowley and John Mescala that came in originally. Then we had a blood substitution that Ronan McCarthy came off with blood in, but that's not a substitution. That's only a blood substitution. And then later in the game we substituted our goalkeeper Kevin Dwyer for Alan Quirk and substituted Dermot Sullivan for Colin Corker late in the game. So it's well within the rules.
That's something I didn't notice, but I'm sure the lads in the stand and the media lads will have all the substitutes written down, so they'll probably be able to answer that for us.
But the number of substitutes that they used during the course of the game, because there seems to be genuine concern that Cork actually used too many substitutes.
Yes, Michael. The rule states that you can use a maximum of 20 players. That's 5 substitutions. But in that 5 substitutions, it includes the blood substitute. So if you make 4 subs and a blood substitute, you're correct. That's okay. That's within the law. But Cork broke the law today, infringed the rule, because they used 5 substitutions, as Larry stated, 3 at one time. Michael Cronin for Brendan John O'Sullivan, Colin Crowley for Clifford, John Miscala for Owen Sexton. Then, in the middle of that, Ronan McCarthy went off with a blood substitution to be replaced by Mickey O'Donovan. Subsequently, they made 2 further substitutions. That was Alan Quirk. We see Ronan McCarthy coming on.
That's the blood substitution.
That's the blood substitution. Now, they made 3 substitutions at one go, and after that, they made 2 further substitutions. Alan Quirk came on instead of Kevin O'Dwyer in goals, and Dermot O'Sullivan came on for Colin Cochrane. So what they did was they made 5 subs plus a blood substitution. So Cork used 21 players today. Technically speaking, they broke the rule. There are 2 precedents. Now, people will say Nafina played against Sarsfields, where Nafina inadvertently brought on a 6th sub. That was in the Leinster Club Championship, where the Leinster Council decided we'll leave it go, we'll get the game replayed because Sarsfields agreed to it. The other precedent was Sligo against Kildare in the National League. Very similar situation to today, where Mick O'Dwyer inadvertently used 6 subs. He didn't think that the blood substitute was included. So what happened with the Sligo-Kildare, it was a draw. The GAC subsequently decided that Sligo should be awarded the 2 points. Now, the rule is very, very simple. In the event of a breach of this rule, the penalty is forfeiture of the game. It's black and white. Now, Cork broke the rule. It's black and white. Now, can I just state that the referee's decision as regards a game is not final. The crowd who actually decide the result of a game is the GAC on receipt of the referee's report.
And in actual fact, Joe Brawley, we've had a statement from the chairman of the Munster Council, that's Christy Cooney, tonight, and he says that the Munster Council will have to wait on the referee's report from this afternoon's Munster Senior Football Final replay, and only then will the matter be dealt with. So clearly they have a concern that there was something wrong here.
Well, it seems astonishing that Cork, particularly after a performance like that, could actually lose it, but it's very clear. I mean, from a lawyer's point of view, I mean, I don't think you'd be able to argue that it means anything other than that they should forfeit the game and be disqualified from the competition. But I think that...
I'm sure Tipperary wouldn't want a rematch anyway.
No, I don't think that's right. I mean, in the interest of justice, I mean, surely
I'd
they could
also
find
imagine that Tipperary don't want to be given the Munster title on this. But still,
it's out of their hands, Michael.
Yes,
it's out of their hands. People will say, well, if Tipperary don't object, there's no problem. It's out of Tipperary's hand. The report goes to GAC, and the GAC will decide.
Yeah. So essentially, we're going to have to wait and see what the referee's report says and what action is taken.
Absolutely, but like I said, the precedent has been set, and it's not looking great for Cork if they're going to apply the rules rigidly.
All right, gentlemen, there we're going to have to leave it on that particular topic, and as I said, you're going to be hearing plenty about that. Maximum of appears that Cork used 21 players in that game today. That's where the difficulty arises. Joe Bradley, you've raised an interesting point about all this. Cork not necessarily thrown out of the championship.
Well, it's just a point we missed it because we were sort of dealing with this on the hoof. But in fact, if it was a question of putting them out of the championship, I think that wouldn't happen. I mean, the GA would compromise because it would be such a huge decision. In fact, what would happen is that they would simply be relegated into the qualifiers and have to go and play Mayo next Saturday night. Presumably that would mean that the Munster title would be awarded to Tipperary after a 19-point defeat, it seems. I know.
So there's still a possibility that Mayo don't know who they're going to meet next Saturday. Anyway, coming up very shortly as well, and this was always a thing, they were going to breach that Tyrone defence, you felt, at some stage.